comes a point in every life when preparation meets opportunity, a fleeting intersection where all the years of struggle, sacrifice, and silent persistence are meant to converge into a single defining moment. We are, in truth, only as capable as the chances we are given. Talent without opportunity is a voice unheard, a masterpiece left unfinished. And so we wait, we work, and we hope that when our moment arrives, the world will see us as we truly are. But life does not deal with fairness. Sometimes, when the long-awaited moment finally comes, when everything we've endured stains as the edge of vindication that is taken from us. Not because we faltered, but because life, in its cruel symmetry, reminds us that merit does not guarantee reward. The world does not always honor effort, nor does it always recognize greatness in its purest form. And in the realization lies a quiet truth, that even when legacy is denied, the struggle itself becomes the measure of who we are. Gennady Triple G Golovkin stood as the most feared and avoided middleweight in boxing, a relentless knockout artist who not only won, but devoured every opponent placed before him. With the collection of world titles and an aura of invincibility, he became the division's most dangerous name. Yet no superstar dares to share the ring with him. Meanwhile, Canelo Álvarez was forging his own path, emerging as boxing's brightest star in a post-Mayweather and Pacquiao era. Having conquered the junior middleweight ranks, Canelo's rise seemed destined to collide with Golovkin's reign. For years, fans demanded the showdown. The calls growing louder as the sport's biggest stars and his most feared champion circled one another. Still, negotiations lingered. Canelo's camp biding time as the fighter matured into a true middleweight, shielding him from Golovkin's devastating power. Then at last, in September 2017, destiny brought them together under the bright lights of Las Vegas. Billed as Supremacy, the bout promised more than titles. It promised a defining moment for an era, a clash worthy of comparison to the legendary wars of Hagler and Hearns.
He finally get the respect that he feels, but Hearns was on his way down anyway. Only disappointment is that
the stylistic matchup between Gennady Triple G Golovkin and Canelo Álvarez was a classic clash of the hunting pressure fighter versus the cunning counterpuncher. Gennady Golovkin embodies the archetype of the ruthless pressure fighter, a boxer whose very presence in a ring suffocated opponents before a punch was even thrown. His style, often described as a modern evolution of the classic Mexican style, built on constant forward movement, positional footwork, and a punishing jab that set up his devastating power.
In round number 2, and the look on Steven's face there says
Golovkin's mastery of cutting off the ring left adversaries nowhere to escape as he suffocated opponents against the ropes. Every element of his game, his balance, his high guard, his ability to absorb punches, were designed to break resistance, both physically and mentally, until openings appeared for his thunderous hooks and overhands. Triple G's approach was methodical, yet merciless. He pressed forward, maintained distance, and forced mistakes, all while carrying an 87% knockout ratio, the highest in middleweight history.
Body shot puts Macklin down. Zotto stopping it. They throw in a towel. So Gennady Golovkin.
Canelo Álvarez was skilled and versatile, bringing a blend of explosive counterpunching, sharp head movement, and a granite chin into the middleweight ranks. He excelled at fighting off the back foot, slipping punches with subtle upper body movement and firing back with crisp combinations. Canelo's style was defined by his patience and timing, rarely wasting punches, instead learning to exploit the smallest defensive lapse. His bodywork was among the best in the sport, and his ability to adapt mid-fight made him a dangerous challenge for any opponent. Entering the fight, Canelo was seen as a complete, mature boxer, but one who had yet to prove himself against the division's most feared champion.
Here, I don't know. Not really throwing back. Álvarez targeting right-hand shot. Down goes Belvedere on a rocket left hook.
On September 16, 2017, before a sold-out crowd of more than 22,000 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, the atmosphere electrified with anticipation as two of boxing's finest prepared to lay their names on the line for middleweight history.
Both of these guys know the history of the sport.
When a predator begins his hunt, the game becomes one of mirrored intent and hidden intelligence. The predator thrives on control. Its art lies in encirclement and the slow constriction of space until the prey's world narrows to a single fatal point. Yet the trapper moves to a different tune, one of patience and illusion. To the predator's eyes, the trapper must appear exposed, almost careless, inviting pursuit. But beneath that surface lies design. Each step, each hesitation, a thread in an invisible net. In this dance, dominance and vulnerability are masked, worn by both. The predator believes it dictates the hunt, but the trapper's cunningness lies in anticipation, knowing not just when the predator will strike, but why. In the end, the question is not who hunts whom, but who better understands the nature of pursuit itself. In a fight of this magnitude, no matter how confident you are in your abilities, the first step is to tread lightly. Canelo was the kind of counterpuncher who made his opponents confine him. What made him truly dangerous was the power behind his traps, a lingering threat in the pocket that was never passive, but constant. In a matchup like this, the jab becomes the most critical weapon for both fighters. For the pressure fighter, it's the key to closing distance and setting up power. For the counterpuncher, it's the tool to disrupt rhythm, control timing, and deny openings. The battle of jabs, more than any single punch, often decides who commands the fight's tempo.
Backing Triple G up, something we never seen anybody do to this point in time.
For Canelo, controlling range wasn't about constant lateral movement. It was about denying Golovkin extended moments of punching range with his feet set. The goal was to keep Golovkin on the outside, forcing him to initiate and step in with his jab. By doing so, Canelo created windows to either retract and defend, or to counter decisively over the incoming jab, punctuating Golovkin's aggression in his tracks.
His opponents and landing power punches.
And what I'm saying quickly, let's go to our unofficial scorer, Harold Letterman. How do you have it through 3? Okay, Jim, okay.
In the calculated pursuit of control, every punch was a gamble. Commit and risk being punished, or hesitate and surrender the initiative.
The power of the counterpuncher. Canelo has thrown Triple G off. Doesn't seem willing to go to the body.
Punishing mistakes became the game within the game. Golovkin, a skilled counterpuncher in his own right, posed his own threats to Canelo's jab.
Triple G's been focused upstairs.
Yeah, the problem
Fight needs to make it look like Chavez Rosario. He needs to put his man's back on the.
In those intricate exchanges, he sought to open up, setting traps designed to pull Canelo in, countering a counterpuncher with his own traps. Once Canelo grew confident that his chin could withstand the middleweight monster's power, and the champion was ready to raise the tempo, both fighters edged even closer, transforming the contest into a pocket fight. At that range, while both men stood within arm's reach and directly in the line of fire, anything could happen.
Lamping Canelo's body shots with his arms. Lands a left hook upstairs, partially blocked, but still.
It was no man's land, and with the power both possessed, a single flush shot had the potential to change the tides. Yet, amid the danger, their skill shone through. Both displayed mastery not only in the offense, but in the defense, precise timing, and disciplined positioning.
that round. It's not like Triple G took. That's something we never seen anybody do with Triple G. That's why I say that Canelo is giving.
Being in punching range is one thing, landing clean is another. As Canelo's comfort grew, so did his audacity. At one point, even fighting off the ropes, inviting Golovkin to open up.
Uppercut with the right hand.
And it worked.
Right hand.
He did get hit.
But as the old saying goes, if you play with fire long enough, don't be surprised when you get burnt.
Top of that right hand, over top of his left hook, with a beautiful right hand, landed.
Very at home.
We never seen nobody come in and fight Triple G with this type of mentality.
While both boxers were willing to trade in the pocket for brief moments, neither dared to overstay. Each understood the other's counterpunching abilities, turning the exchanges into a measured duel of timing and precision. The result was a calculated battle, using a jab to create openings, sliding in punches before exiting, denying the opponent the opportunity to retaliate. Both showcased strong defensive awareness, but Canelo's was the slicker of the two. He consistently denied Golovkin the chance to string together meaningful combinations. Though Golovkin struggled to land cleanly, his shotgun jab remained his most reliable weapon, firing it sharp, compact, and without warning.
Starting to get to Canelo.
You like to see Triple G go to the body more. I think that would serve him.
Even when it connected, Canelo was already anticipating and defending the follow-up. Recognizing this, Golovkin adapted, mixing his patterns and finishing the combinations with jabs instead of the expected hooks or uppercuts, keeping Canelo guessing and maintaining tactical unpredictability. After shifting into higher gear in the third, Golovkin never eased off on the pressure, maintaining a ceaseless pace deep into the second half of the fight, showing no signs of letting off. While Canelo managed to deny Golovkin his trademark ability to systematically break down opponents,
That's the telephone pole jab.
the Kazakh champion was nonetheless in control, dictating the tempo and forcing Canelo to fight on his terms.
Canelo fires back with the left hand. Once again, Golovkin's footwork.
Followed by a left uppercut right on the beard.
Through the 7th and 8th rounds, Golovkin's pressure remained constant. Canelo had his moments, sinking in sharp punches,
Pumping that jab, pumping.
You see two good fighters. Triple G lands Canelo lands a right uppercut.
but nothing he landed was enough to deter Golovkin from driving him back against the ropes.
Gennady steps back in and lands a hard right uppercut. And the right jab. Right hand just missed. Right hand. Gennady.
The 9th round marked a turning point. Instead of circling away, Canelo chose to stand his ground, holding the pocket and trading fire. Both men planted the feet and let loose the cannons. The granite chins neutralized each other's power.
But then with the overhand right over the top of the jab. That's what a counterpuncher does best. Boom, right on the jaw.
But Golovkin's jab continued to be the most consistent weapon in the ring.
Moment, Canelo's spot trying to suffocate the opponent.
Pouring it on.
Gets Canelo on the ropes one more time. And now Golovkin with a three-punch.
In the championship rounds, Canelo came alive, finishing strong with renewed aggression and sharper combinations. Yet, it felt like a late rally. Perhaps too little, too late. By the final bell, Golovkin's pressure and jab had defined the fight. Though his limited body work and occasional hesitation prevented him from fully capitalizing. Canelo's defense and counterpunching were impressive early, but his stretches of inactivity allowed Golovkin to seize momentum. The result was a tactical, fiercely competitive contest in which both fighters exposed subtle flaws in the other's game. According to Copybox statistics, Golovkin outthrew and outlanded Canelo in 10 of the 12 rounds, connecting on 218 of 703 punches at 31%, to Canelo's 169 of 505 at a 33.5% landing ratio. While Canelo landed 4 more power punches, Golovkin's jab told the story, outlanding Canelo by 56. When the scorecards were read, one judge had a 115-113 for Golovkin, another 114-114, and the most controversial card, Adelaide Bird's 118-110 for Canelo, sparked outrage. The split draw was steeped in controversy, as many believe Golovkin had controlled the majority of the fight, given boxing's long-standing notion that a challenger must take the title for the champion. It was difficult for many to see how Golovkin didn't leave with the victory that night. While the two would meet again, with Canelo winning another razor-thin majority decision in a rematch, and later a decisive victory in the trilogy bout. But by then, Golovkin was far past his prime. When reflecting on Golovkin's career, opinions remain divided. Some argue his resume was padded with mid-tier opponents. Others insist he was avoided by elite fighters during his peak. But when his defining moment finally arrived, many thought the rug was pulled beneath him. On paper, he suffered only 2 losses against one champion. But for countless fans, they felt the first fight remains the night a legacy was unjustly stripped from the middleweight conqueror.